Welcome, fellow Planeswalkers. I'm your host, Roman.
And I'm Akeem.
It's time to find out what's this week's casting cost. So, Akeem.
So, Roman.
It's been a while since we've uploaded anything, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, Modern Masters came out, and then we got sick individually. Then we had a power outage. It was a couple of interesting things that happened.
Yeah, I would like to point out that I got sick because of a certain someone.
I pulled a turbo goif. Come on.
So did I. And I didn't get you sick.
I mean, look.
Well, anyway. So let's go back a little bit to the non-bannings that happened.
Oh, yeah, the lack of bannings.
Yeah, so Banning Monday came and went, and no cards went.
And instantly, the community went into an uproar.
Which, I mean, to play the devil's advocate a little bit, I guess, or to side with the big baddie, I feel for Wizards here, because no matter what they do, people are going to get pissed.
Yep.
So it's like, they do stuff, everybody hates them. They don't do stuff, everybody hates them. So all they can really do is determine what is best for the meta and do that regardless of what the community thinks would be or wouldn't be best. And I mean, there is a slight exception here in that banning the cat would have been, well, it's not necessary. It would be a statement on their part. It would have been, rather, a statement on their part of being like, we know we messed up. This slipped under our radar. We're going to fix it. But, you know, people would have been upset either way, like I said. So
I would have been upset because, to me, even though people keep saying is now a 2-deck format with Mardu and Saheeli Cat combo, I mean, green-black is still a thing, and it has, like, many varieties of that. And there are ways to attack the combo. And to me, those are meaningful. There's several, like, ways to do it if you're in a certain color. I mean, if you're not in a certain color, I mean, you kind of run the risk of saying, okay, I'm not going to do that good against combo. That's deck building at that point. And even then, they still have ways. I mean, they even mentioned in the article, Dynavolt Tower is a thing. And that goes off of instances and sorceries. And you can just, oh, hey, I passed the Saheeli Cat combo. Nope. He's dead.
yeah, or if you're in green-black, turn 3, they cast Saheeli. You know it's coming, so turn 4, they throw down the cat, and you're just like, okay, with its trigger on the stat, Grasp of Darkness.
Yeah, either Grasp of Darkness, or if you run Evolving Wilds, pop that, Fatal Push.
Yeah, there are answers to it. If anything, to me, this is just like this is just Splinter Twin, but in Standard.
Hey, look, I mean, the other thing, too, people have been clamoring for combo for a while. You know me, I've tried almost every single combo deck that's been around. And so the fact that there's actually a good one is like, I like that. People are like, well, no, it's oppressive, and it doesn't let you play the decks you want to play. And it's like, yeah, but that's like every format.
Yeah.
There's always a card that prevents us. And then another article came out recently, actually, State of Standard. It's actually on the Mothership. It came out a couple days ago. And they were saying, like, for the Future League, they were testing, and they had similar decks already made, but they were testing with Smuggler's Copter, and Emrakul still in the format. So there's no way they could have seen this, because technically, if Emrakul was still around, it would still be around.
Yeah.
We probably wouldn't even see cat combo because it'd be like, all right, who gets the Emrakul or bloop bloop?
I mean, okay, well, to be fair, though, it could, Saheeli Cat combo could have still been a thing, just because, like, that could have been a potential, fight against Emrakul. You know, Emrakul decks, they're racing to get Emrakul out as fast as they can. Saheeli Cat combo, they're like, well, we're going to go infinite first. But either way, Or even still, like if they were able to cast Emrakul and take over their turn and whatever, there still would have been a possibility for them to the next turn Saheeli Cat combo, depending on what had gone down.
Exactly. It's I don't know.
I don't think it's that big of a deal, and plus we have no idea what's going to come out in Emon Cat.
Oh, but we kind of do.
We kind of do. We've seen one card so far, but I'm just saying we don't know what kind of interactions we're gonna see. But speaking of this card,
This card's interesting. We actually posted it on our Twitter.
interesting. Akeem does not like it.
Okay, I'm a bit better on it now. But before I didn't understand what the need was. We're gonna post a picture in a description. But this card essentially does two things. So for 4 mana, 2 white, it destroys all creatures with power 3 or greater. And this is a sorcery, by the way.
I thought it was 4 or greater. Is it 3?
It's 3 or greater.
Okay.
So then, but when it's in the graveyard, it has this weird side cut that you can only play it from the graveyard. If you pay 5, you return all creatures of power 2 or less to your hand.
From your graveyard.
Yeah, from your graveyard to your hand. It's also white, so there's 3 colorless and a white. Now, I didn't
3 colorless, 2 white.
Yeah, thank you. Now, I didn't understand why they did this until a mock-up showed up. I'll also post that too in the description of the
Board
fact
layout.
if you actually turn it sideways, you see the other card what it is, and I'm like, oh, well that makes sense, but it's still like so much stuff going on this card. Like when you just look at it in your hand, you're like, this is a lot to process.
I mean, the biggest thing is for as long as Magic has been around, they haven't played with their card layout and card space as much. So this is them still just
messing around.
Yeah, messing around with it, tweaking it, whatever. As for the card itself, I mean, it's all right. I much would have preferred if the returning brought them back to the field, similar to Rally.
They did that, then Cat combo would be broken.
I don't know about broken.
It's like, oh, you killed all my Felidar Guardians. Boop.
I mean, yeah, but it'd be a lot harder to not see it coming if you know that's in their graveyard.
That's true.
But either way, and plus they'd have to cast it, or I guess just get it in the graveyard somehow.
Yeah, no, there's freaking Cathartic Reunion if they wanted to go that route.
But it's flashback, but not flashback.
It's an interesting way of flashback.
Yeah, yeah.
It does one thing the first time, and it does almost the opposite thing the next.
Although, to be fair, a cool thing about it is if you have a way to cast it from your graveyard, it's not like the other version disappears entirely. So, like, hypothetically, if you were to target it with Baby Jace, for some weird reason, whatever deck you're playing,
I think you have to exile it when you cast the other part.
No, if you don't cast it, I'm saying.
Oh. Okay.
Like, you cast the board wipe, and it's in your graveyard, and you target it with Baby Jace. At that point, you'll be able to either cast the board wipe or the returning, because it's in your graveyard.
Yeah, that's true.
But a nice thing about it is it's going to but it's going to encourage new players to pay attention more to what's going on in the opponent's graveyard, because up to this point there hasn't really been much
Delirium.
I mean, other than keeping track of like what card types. Now you're gonna have to be like, okay, does he have any what's the ability consequence? Does he have any consequences in it? Does he have any consequences in his graveyard? That'll be fun to say.
Yeah.
But either way, it's interesting. It's really cool. The flavor wise, dusk, dawn. It's cool stuff. I can't remember who said it or where I read it. Might have been on Reddit.
Yeah.
But the flavor and mythology implications of Dusk and Dawn. So like how it was believed that at dusk, or during when it's going to nighttime, the pharaohs went to the other world or whatever to like fight and do whatever shit, and then when dawn came, they came back, or their spirits or souls did or whatever.
Interesting.
So it was kind of like a going back and forth. Might not have been pharaohs, might have been warriors. I don't know. I'm not gonna try to like quote it.
A connection to the Egyptian theme.
Right.
It's clear.
Right.
At this point.
So that's cool, at least. I am interested to see what other consequence cards there are going to be.
I kind of hope we get some graveyard hate, to be honest.
You're thinking like a Grafdigger's Cage type of thing?
Grafdigger's Cage, Rest in Peace. Rest in Peace will be very flavorful at this point because of all the pyramids and stuff. But just something. Like, I'll even take Tormod Script. Like, it's just... Delirium needs to be attacked in some way because the deck is still really good. Granted, Marty Vehicles just says, I'm the best deck ever and smashes it. But it's still a very powerful synergy that it can easily snowball.
Yeah.
And, like... You know, it's
True.
just something that can be taken advantage of.
I just want them to reprint Ankh of Mishra.
I think they'll do that.
I don't think they will. They're not going to reprint it.
Mishra's Bobble.
They might, right? Mishra's Baubles. They might make a masterpiece of Ankh of Mishra, but I highly doubt that they will reprint Ankh of Mishra just because it's a type of punishment that players are not used to currently.
Minor thing. Do you think they're gonna do a masterpiece Planeswalker in Nicobolas?
Honestly, no.
Don't think so.
I don't think so.
Don't think they'll cross into that just yet.
No.
I can see them doing it with Mind Sculptor, Veil, so they don't have to reprint them in Standard.
I mean, yes, there is that option for them, but I mean,
obviously not in this set, but in the future.
No, yeah, I just don't know if they're ready to pull the trigger on it just yet. And besides, that would almost be, unflavorful, I guess, because, excuse me, still a little sick.
I wouldn't be as flavorful.
Right, because they tend to go with not whatever the set is, but they tend to go for a theme. So unless there was some kind of theme that fit why they were going to include a Planeswalker, I mean, you look at like Aether Revolt and Kaladesh, and they were all artifact based.
Yep.
Zendikar, they were all land based. So they're gonna be trying to go for themes to fit thematically with the set and block and all that.
That'd be interesting to decide what they pick.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, people might be upset about it, but seeing as how they're doing kind of like a another god-esque type of thing, which we can assume they're gonna have god cards again.
Yep.
They could do an enchantment type of thing. If this is an enchantment-based deck, or enchantment focused.
The ley lines could be, if they do that.
Yeah, they could reprint the ley lines as masterpieces, which would be nice. But I think personally they would go that route if they were going for a theme, just because gods, they've already established that god cards are like enchantments. Now they could change that this time around, and maybe they won't be legendary enchantment creatures.
Creature god.
Legendary enchantment creature god.
But
I mean, maybe they would. I can't say for sure. However, leading up to Amonkhet, which is coming out soon.
Yeah, they should probably start the lore and the spoilers here within the next week or two.
Yeah, and when lore comes back out, we're going to be doing Lore's Day.
That's right. Every Thursday is Lore's Day, where me and Roman talk about the new story that's released on Wednesday.
I love lore.
Me too.
There's a new dual deck, which they said they weren't going to do anymore, which they're doing. It is Mind vs. Might. If you want to look at the deck lists, they're on the mothership.
Mm-hmm. We also link that in the description.
But a couple interesting things about it. One, there are no new cards in it, or at least no new cards from
Amonkhet.
Amonkhet, yeah. It's no oh look, here's the spoiler card.
Yeah, because with Battle for Zendikar, you had Oblivion Sower for around Theros. They had Sun Titan and Pelucranos. So I'm thinking, all right, now we're gonna see a little bit of what's in Amonkhet, and it's like, nope.
No.
Apparently, nothing. There's all reprints. But...
Although, even though we're not seeing anything new, card-wise, we are seeing something new, deck-wise. The dual decks have always been kind of lackluster, except for the rare one-off where they did Coco, or Collected Company rather, and Windswept Heath.
That was a good clash pack.
Yeah, which was a clash pack technically, I guess, not a dual deck, because you were able to push the two decks together into one, and blah blah blah. But this dual deck, at least half of this dual deck, really weird. Storm. Mm-hmm. Like, not even just like thinking it's Storm. It's Storm. There's Grape Shot, Empty the Warrens, Temporal Fisher.
Young Pyromancer's in there.
Young Pyromancer, Goblin Electromancer. Harkening back to another standard deck, we've got Nivik Cyclops.
Yep.
That was a fun deck.
Oh, man.
I say with disdain. Desperate Ritual.
Only one, but still, it's very clear.
But still, yeah. And it's weird because none of these cards are expensive. Mm-hmm. But they're all cards that are like, their power level is a bit high to just be in like a pre-built, here you go, deck. So, is this something to look like that they're toying with? Maybe giving us more like powerful constructed type decks? Is this a hint that, hey guys, Storm is gonna be an Amonkhet?
Oh God! Like, I don't even think that's possible. They said Storm was too broken, and like you see, they keep nerfing it, and with the bannings in Modern.
They say a lot of things.
They do, but it's like it's so weird. It's such an oddball decision for them to be like, if you're new to Magic, here's Storm.
Yeah.
Blop.
Which brings me to another point. In that they've already blatantly stated that the Planeswalker decks are for new players. Mm-hmm. Basically, they are not directed at all towards seasoned players or experienced players or pro players or anything other than new players or maybe casual players. Except for that weird instance where there was that instant in the Chandra deck that
Flame Lash.
Yeah, that brought the price up. Not necessarily brought it up, but that individual card was like, oh shoot,
you can only get it in this, so now it's really expensive.
And everyone wants it because it was actually pretty good. But with that being said, that reduces what the non-casual players might want to look into getting. So this might be them kind of testing, like, okay, well, here's something for more seasoned players, maybe. Obviously, there's nothing broken in here, or nothing that's like an expensive staple, which is kind of unfortunate, because I still think that they should include, like, one staple in each deck,
Make it something.
Yeah, a way
like, at least Sun Titan was in
a way to get stuff out again, but... whatever. But this could be them testing, like, okay, well, maybe, let's test with the power level, see how players feel about this. Maybe we'll start putting better things in there. Like, Quicken is in the Mind deck, which, again, not an expensive card, but a damn good card, in my opinion.
Yeah, new art of Snap and Coat of Arms in the Might deck.
That's right. The Snap art looks sick. Interesting that they didn't decide to go with any new art for Grape Shot or Empty the Warrens. Or,
I think Empty the Warrens is new. No, it's not.
That's an old art.
It is old art. There's Empty the Warrens in here too. Two of them.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's like, hey, you like Storm? Here's a basic set.
But on the flip side, it's suffering again from the same thing that every dual deck has suffered from, in that one deck is vastly superior to the other. Mm-hmm. At least in initial glance power level. Mind looks much more powerful than Might. However, I will say that this version of Storm will not get off the ground very fast. It'll take a bit getting up to that point of like, okay, well, on this turn, I'll be able to suspend all these things, get my storm count up, blah blah blah. It's not going to be any kind of like do 20 things in one turn and here's grape shot for whatever insane amount of stuff. This is going to be much more of a like, I'll do 4 things this turn and here is a little bit of storm, something like that.
A little bit of empty the warrens.
Yeah, just tiny bits here and there, which is why I think that Might will be able to compete with it, in that Might has some power for it going in the form of creatures. I mean, if you're lucky enough, you can go Burning Tree Emissary, which they've included in this deck. So you could go Burning Tree Emissary into... whoa, did they rare shift it up again?
Yeah, it's back in uncommon.
Huh.
That's weird.
Interesting. So, interesting note, Burning Tree Emissary was uncommon. They rare shifted it down in Modern Masters 2017 to common, and in this Might Duel deck, they rare shifted it back up to common? Mm-hmm. Or uncommon, rather?
Yeah.
Kind of odd. But anyway, you could go, like, turn 2 Burning Tree into Rada, Heir to Keld, or Burning Tree into Talara's Battalion. Blech. Which a 4/3 trample on turn 2 is pretty good. The reason you'd have to do that is she has a caster only if you've cast another green spell this turn.
Which Burning Tree Emissary is technically a green spell.
But either way, it could potentially hold its own. It's much more of a ground battle, which is why I think that it's harder to kind of in your head pit these two against each other, because
you also got to think about who's playing the deck.
And Might just looks much more powerful. It does, but it's hard to visualize like a board state in your head. Mm-hmm. And Might would have the clear advantage there, just the amount of creatures being able to punch in, turn after turn after turn.
Yeah,
having coat of arms.
Mine is harder to think of your board state.
Yeah, sorry.
Whereas Might. It's like, okay, I can play creature, pump up a creature's go.
Yeah, so, I mean, maybe these are more balanced. Unfortunately, it does look like Mind has more desirable cards in it. But, oh, I just thought of something, actually, while we were sitting here. So Zozu the Punisher is in the Might deck.
Yeah.
Maybe that's getting players ready for the Ankh of Mishra reprint in Amonkhet.
I mean, maybe?
Maybe. You got that damage going?
It's a stretch, but...
Whatever.
It's possible.
Whatever.
Like, they may surprise us yet. Like, Wizards are very good about surprising us, just like they surprised everyone with Modern Masters 2017 edition, which...
was what Modern Masters should have been from the beginning.
Oh my god. So I remember the first time they showed off the packaging, and like I was more happy about Amonkhet stuff because I was like, sweet, that's all the Modern Master stuff, and I was like, why is Domri Raid, Bristlbrand, and this angel that kind of looks like Elspeth on these packs? Like, everyone's sitting there, like, ooh, that might be Snapcaster Mage, but I don't know. Maybe it's Delver's Secrets? I don't know. And people's like, man, Modern Master's gonna suck. So then pre-orders are like at 160, 170 on the low end. The moment they started spoilers, damnation. Zendikar fetch lands. You're welcome.
Liliana.
The price starts going up. You find out that was Snapcaster Mage with new art and mythic rarity. Yeah, Termaglyph was reprinted, as you know.
He's the Modern Masters staple, but Liliana of the Veil,
yep,
just so good. So much good.
The fact that the shards are a base here, like you can actually go shard 3 color or 4 color, and funny enough, like the draft format from Modern Masters 2017 is beautiful.
It's fun.
I really enjoy it. It's expensive, but I knew what the cards did. It wasn't like I had to figure out a new mechanic. It's like, I know all this stuff. Like, even for the cards I've never seen or played with before, it's like, oh, sweet, this is a really good effect. Like, the Blue-White Blink deck was really fun to play. Or,
Green-Red?
Green-Red, which is what I stomped with the first time I played it. It's like, oh yeah, I go Burning Tree Emissary 2 drop, and it's just like, oh, what do you do against that in limited?
Yeah. I didn't have so much luck in the deck building portion of the Modern Masters drafts, but I will say that in my first draft, pack 1 opened a foil Linvala
Yep.
and kind of pushed myself into white-blue there. And then pack 2, I opened a Tarmogoyf.
Yep.
And then did not play green. I played Esper, but that was a pretty good experience for me.
It was
to Modern Masters, pretty good opening experience.
Yeah, I mean, we all pretty much opened pretty good. I mean, like overall, like for all the times that we played Modern Masters, like I opened a Termagoyf and Liliana. You opened Liliana
And a Goyf.
and a Goyf. Stefan opened Liliana. Yeah, we also opened at least a fetch land between us.
Yeah.
Like Misty's and a foil Verdant for me. Stefan opened a foil Marsh and a regular Marsh. It's like the value is here. And Tulare Community College actually did what he likes to call the booster box game.
Where if it paid for the next one, he'd buy a next one.
And he did this 6 times in a row. It lasted an hour. And like the last one's all super dramatic. I'm not gonna spoil what happens, but it's like, oh man, I'm sorry, we're so close. I just can't believe. Oh my god! And it's just like, so the reminder is there is value here, but in the end, when you buy a box, you are gambling in a sense.
Yeah, my box wasn't great.
Yeah.
Akeem's box was great.
Yeah.
My box wasn't great.
But
I want to buy another box.
I kind of want to buy another box too, to be perfectly honest.
More than boxes, though, I want to do more drafts.
Yeah, I would pay for draft. It was a fun experience. You felt like you had a chance to get value. Like, if my wife can freaking first pack one, pick one, get a Termagoyf, and like she doesn't draft often, that might just be the casual magic luck that she has. But still. But no, Modern Masters was very fun, and I'm honestly, like we've been playing a lot of Aether Revolt, Kaladesh. I've had more fun doing this than that. It's really surprising.
Yeah, aside from story, there wasn't a whole lot in Kaladesh and Aether Revolt card-wise that really, like, pulled me in. There wasn't anything that was like, oh, man, I want to draft because I want these cards, blah, blah, blah. Or I really want to play these cards, blah, blah, blah. It was because, to me, it was kind of just repetitive the entire time. I would always draft energy. Some form of energy. Either
energy or you go like a blue because blue would always be open.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. Standard overall has taken a turn. I remember when I first started playing, and this was around Core 2013, Innistrad, Return to Ravnica block, all that super standard. And there was like plenty of cards that were like worth something and were good and that you can play. It's like you had your Blink decks with Restoration Angel and Thragtusk. You also had your freaking like Blood Rush deck. You had your Gristlebrand decks. You had a whole bunch of stuff that you could do, and like there was worth something. Like you can pull anything and be good with. But then slowly as the years passed, and we can kind of see this now when you're trying to buy into Standard, a lot of the cards are really cheap and they're not as impactful.
I gotta say, yeah, there was definitely what felt like a sudden shift. Sudden shift, I believe that's a card. Mm-hmm. Felt like a sudden shift after the Return to Ravnica block. Because like you were saying, in the Innistrad block, so many expensive cards, so many good cards, it was just great. The Return to Ravnica block, it had the Shocklands. There were so many cards that were just good and great. Deathrite Shaman, Voice of Resurgence, which has gone down. Resurgence has gone down actually since its reprinting in Modern Masters, even though it was at Mythic level.
But now,
but after that, what was after that actually? Theros, yeah. Theros was the start of the downfall, I believe.
And then they shifted it up with cons and dragons.
I mean, they did, but at the same time, it wasn't like... it wasn't a huge upshift. It was just kind of like, hey, look, here are fetch lands.
That was the thing.
And like a couple good cards. It was like, okay. And
but you mainly did it for the fetch lands.
It was like, if we're thinking like a roller coaster, I guess, it's like Innistrad and that was like, you know, we're going up this huge hill, blah, blah, blah. Ravnica, oh my gosh. And then Theros was just like, you expect, you know, you I'm not going to say that you go downhill because that would actually be thrilling. It's like you get to the top of this huge thing and it's like, Theros, and there's a little dip. It's like, oh.
And then plateau, and then, the ride's over.
Yeah. And then it's like, okay, done. And it's like, oh.
It seems like they're scared to print anything too powerful in Standard because I blame it on them decided to take a chance in printing Thoughtseize in Theros, which it is a very powerful card. I get it. I feel like it was only part of the problem, not the sole reason that it was a problem.
Yeah, I don't even think it was that big of a mistake.
It kind of what I mean. The reason why, like, if Pack Rat was not a thing and Mutavault was not a thing, I don't think the card would be as strong as it was. It'd be good, but it wouldn't be like, play black, you don't need to do anything else.
That's the thing, though, is that it's not necessarily that Thoughtseize was at fault, which is why I don't think that reprinting it was a problem. I think it was the fact that Black Devotion came out of nowhere and was just like, oh, did you know you can do this and all these pack rats and their mana, their pips count, and then you can Gray Merchant? And it was like, oh, I guess I didn't know that.
The deck has so many ways to win at that time. So not only can it attack your hand for turn one, like from there, it can start either flooding the board, or it can start drawing a whole bunch of cards, or it can drain you out of nowhere.
I mean, like I'm not saying that it wasn't like it was more than anything just an unfortunate set of circumstances. Thoughtseize itself needed a reprint. I think that was a smart place to reprint it. I think that it just suffered from its environment. It's not like where they reprinted Ponder in Core 2012 for some fucked up reason. They were like, maybe it'll work 2 weeks. Oh, no, it doesn't. No, what were we thinking? No. It was like, okay, why did you even think that it would work? Thoughtseize, I can understand why they thought it would. But anyway, I'm hoping that, you know, with the things look like they've been slowly climbing to a better place. I mean, just looking at subtle things. You look at Aether Revolt, and more than Aether Revolt, you look past it. You look at the amount. Yes, you look at the amount of masterpieces. It looks like they increased how often they're pulled, even just from Kaladesh to Aether Revolt. Because I remember in Kaladesh, like, I barely saw anything. Yeah, and then in Aether Revolt, it's like, oh my gosh, you pulled a masterpiece, and you pulled a masterpiece. Everybody gets a masterpiece.
It might be because the fact it's a small set.
I mean, maybe it's a small set, but I don't think that should necessarily impact the rarity of it. Just because, like, if it's still supposed to be like 1.5 per crate, case, that's what they're called, 1.5 per case. Like, I feel like I've been seeing them a lot more often than 1.5 per case.
Probably 2.
Which is great. I'm not complaining at all. So you see that Modern Masters 2017 has finally been brought up to the power level that a Modern Masters titled set should be at.
They also put the firm stance that fetch lands do not belong in Standard, since they reprinted it in that.
Right, which I'm fine with.
I'm fine with that too.
But you know, you get this, like, okay, here's all these cards that need reprints. Here's all these expensive cards. You know, let's just force everything, not everything or forcing it, but let's fit everything into this. It finally seems like they're starting to do a lot more in terms of, like, value in the packs and everything, which is great to me. And then you look at dual decks. and the weird mind deck that they have, where with all of the storm and stuff. So to me, it feels like we're on a bit of an uptick, if you will, in a Magic era. We're entering sort of a new Magic era. We're coming out of the kind of we're coming out of the age of poop polls and coming into an age more of like still the rare excitement of opening great stuff, but it's just a little more common. A little more common to open all that great stuff.
Which makes you feel better, makes you want to pull more.
Yeah, it makes you want to open more packs, buy more packs, play more, instead of the like, oh, here's another box that I didn't even get half the value back in.
Yeah, exactly. We've seen a lot of that recently. The value is just not there, even after the Pro Tour spiked a few cards. But yeah, it could be a different shift. This could also be the fact that the Magic's trying to move on the digital front as well. As we talked about digital next a lot in our first mini-sode.
We did, and we have nothing has been revealed since then. So
it's been a little bit, actually.
I mean, but nothing like...
they talked about it, and I think kind of we were on the right track somewhat. Because you were right, where Magic Digital Next isn't just like, this replaces MTGO.
Right, it's not the title of what they're working on, it's the title of the group.
In a recent article, and I will find the source and I will post it.
Lies.
I will.
Lies and slander.
It seems, it's a theory, by the way. It's a theory. That it could be very similar to how Blizzard does with Battle.net. To where this is supposed to connect your digital experience. So what if you had a client that connected to Duels and MTGO and Puzzle Quest and whatever else in one section. So you have one login, but also connect that to your DCI. Connections to that to being like, you can't look up your DCI normally anymore in a store. You have to connect it to your Wizard account.
And fucking include the goddamn, like, little card at the end of the pack that lets you redeem it for a virtual something.
That would be great.
Like, take a hint from Pokemon, guys. Pokemon. Come on.
They've been doing that since the late 90s.
Come on.
And also change the value of the pack. Why is the pack worth the same amount as a real pack?
Oh, we're talking about virtual packs.
Yeah,
Change the value
virtual
of those.
packs are worth $4 at least. But with the individual cards that you buy or trade online are worth way less than that. So why?
Yeah, there's no reason to buy packs online. Like, you should have it reflect the fact that it's a digital market. Mm-hmm. Make it like $2 a pack. Mm-hmm. That makes sense. It's not a physical thing. There's nothing but code float. It's ones and zeros.
And people would buy it more because it's cheaper.
I sure as hell would.
It's like,
I sure as hell would.
They also, there's proof in the pudding of that as well, because for constructed events in MTGO, you don't get packs anymore. You get treasure chests now. So it seems like they're slowly, possibly doing it.
You hear that? It's in the pudding. The proof. It's in the pudding.
So, yeah.
But that's just a theory.
Oh, God.
A magic theory.
Man, don't kill us.
No? Was that bad?
Oh,
was that a bad joke?
You should be honored that so many people are just taking his thing.
But either way, yeah, there is that possibility. I hope that is what they're doing, and I you don't know how bad I want them to just include that little card in the back.
They make it so worth it to buy packs too.
Do you know what I do with the little advertisement card in the back of the packs? I literally rip it up and throw it away. I don't. That's bad. I don't literally do that.
I throw them away.
Sometimes, I mean, yes, I throw them away, but it's complete. I don't even read them. There's nothing important on there. Mm-mm. Give me something. Put some story on there. Some flavor. But more importantly, put a code in there.
Play MTGO online. Get this code. Herp-a-derp.
Even if it's only for like a weird half pack thing on MTGO.
Or free trial.
Yeah, or it's just some. I mean, I don't want a free trial. That's weird.
But it's $10 to get it.
I mean, Yeah, but
Like, so give you the pack, but also give you like a 7-day free trial as well.
I mean,
So you can open your pack and you have it, and you can still access it.
oh, you
just
mean
can't.
including?
Yeah.
In addition to.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, not just replacing the code. We
Right.
still want the code, just in addition.
No, I thought you were doing like, an AOL 2-month trial type of thing. I was like,
At least say PSN or Xbox Live.
AOL. I'm thinking back at the disc
Oh God.
that you get at like the grocery store where it's like, hey, try the internet. It's a great thing.
That was an interesting time in my life.
I think that was an interesting time in everyone's life. I came across one of those discs recently and I was like, what the fuck even? Like,
trial of the free try internet.
but anyway, someday someone's gonna unearth those and be like, the internet was on discs. Wow. But yeah, so there's plenty of things they could do. Plenty of things they're not gonna do. Not saying that they're not gonna do those. I'm saying that there are plenty of things that they're not gonna do those things. But anyway, I think we're pretty much caught up.
For the most part, Dynavolt Tower is making a splash in Standard, just as Wizards expected. It actually beat out a field of Mardu and Copycat. Took first in the recent GP. So, I mean, they were kind of right. Dynavolt Tower is a thing.
I don't pay attention to Standard.
Aside from that, it's been really slow. Everyone's been focusing on Modern Masters. Standard has kind of entered a lull. So this is the perfect time, Wizards, to start hyping up a Monket. Because it comes out March 22nd, I believe. No, pre-release starts March 22nd. Regardless.
April?
April.
I was gonna say, we missed the release! Oh my god!
We missed everything! April
22nd.
Well, yes, in a month. So they usually start releasing spoilers 2 weeks before the pre-release. And they have it all and been releasing really quickly. So I don't know.
Yeah, you'd think that they would
start hyping it up now, right?
Yeah, do something. Do something for me. Because it's been a week since Modern Masters came out. And this is starting to enter a lull period. That's the unfortunate thing about this market, is you have to keep constant hype. Or at least spurts of hype. Which is why I think it's weird how they announce everything on one day.
Which is coming up, by the way, on the 31st.
Yeah.
Which is this Friday, the next Friday coming up.
That's a stupid thing. Like, why would you get rid of all of your hype? All at once. You're like, everybody hype. Bye.
Yeah, well, I mean, we will be talking about that on Casting Cost next week as well.
It's like if they were a DJ and, like, you know, they're building you up to the drop, and then they hit the drop, and the song ends. And then it's like, oh, guess it's time to go home. Okay.
And just like that.
Until we meet again on some distant plane, fellow walkers, I have been roaming.
Well, I'm Akeem. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, subscribe to us on YouTube, and I hope you're checking us out on MTGCast.com, which you should be hearing this on. If not, go ahead and search us on that as well.
That's right. We just got accepted on there. This is going to be our first thing.
Are you like 60 now?
I am, however old I damn well please.
All right, Patrick Stewart. But yes, we will see you guys on the uptick.
Bye.